When I say America, do any words come to mind? Maybe freedom or salvation. Freedom or salvation. Honor or glory. Honor or glory. Am I close? Well, for me, when I hear the word America, I think of something very specific. Something very distinct. I think of this dog. The Doge meme, in a way, is a perfect representation of American society today. Now allow me to take you back to the year 2013 for a second. Doge was one of the first viral sensations of the internet era, and it was brought to us by a Japanese kindergarten teacher with no higher purpose or intention other than just posting an innocent photo of her Shiba Inu on the internet. This Japanese kindergarten teacher and her Shiba Inu didn't know it yet, but in a couple years' time, that simple image of a dog with somehow such a complex human expression on its face would weirdly resonate with and collectively bring us together to drown out the sorrows and monotony of everyday life. Wake up, it's 14 years later. And instead of fading away into the distant past for us to look back on with a skeptical yet nostalgic eye, the Doge meme was tarnished and exploited. The corpse of this poor dog had been dragged along by the world's richest and most insecure man. Boom, Dogecoin. Boom, Department of General Efficiency, or Doge for short. I mean, you really have to be an isolated and lonely individual to still think Doge is funny. A once universally beloved image that helped people come together and cope with life under a debilitating system has now been zombified to represent the ones that gain from said system. When I hear America, I think of corporations and CEOs crawling into any and every crevice that they can to try and find the things that give us free joy, just to monetize the hell out of it because they can, exploiting our joy by any means necessary because, hey, that's just business. Or worse, when they try to insert themselves into whatever it is. Memes weren't made for the billionaire class. They were made because of the billionaire class. You don't get to live a life of luxury made off of the backs of hardworking people and then come back down to laugh with the rest of us. Do you even know why these things are funny? Why they make people laugh? They were created because of the pain that people like you cause. So you don't get to try and fit in with the rest of society. No, you can slither back into the empty, soulless void in which you came from, because that is the life that you chose. Sorry, got a little heated there. Gonna have to pace myself from here on out because there will be plenty more opportunities and I would like to choose wisely. Hello and welcome back to the Saji Sharma channel. My name is Saji Sharma and there's a misunderstanding of everything. Some of it is due to insecurity and the desire for validation. Some of it is due to personal profit. And some of it is even due to pure, unadulterated ignorance. All of it, however, has already happened. So really, there's nothing we can do except for talk about it into the zeitgeist and hope that it will help to provide a little understanding and prevent future misunderstandings. Because that's what we like to do here on the Saji Sharma channel. Talk and hope that people will listen. Subscribe. Now today, we're talking about a dynamic duo, that of which the world has never quite seen before. And boy, are we all covering our eyes and screaming at the same time. But first, I have a question. Have you ever been hungry before? Wow, that's crazy. Me too. Now, if you for some reason said no to that question, then let me ask an alternative. Do you want to support your favorite creator that also has the initials SS? Wow, that's crazy. Me too. I, however, get hungry all the time and eat the necessary 3 meals a day because that's the human standard. Do you ever not want to make food because of the concerningly grueling process it takes? Me too. Maybe you're the breadwinner of your single relationship and just need to be cut some slack. Well, you're in luck, because the sponsor of today's video, Factor, can take care of all of your hunger needs. Even the ones you're too afraid to admit, like waking up at 3 a.m. looking for a midnight snack only to get downstairs and realize that you have the appetite for a 4th meal. Because let's be honest, the late night snack is a farce. It's a cover-up, it's an excuse for the midnight meal. Well, if Factor's good at anything, it's providing the perfect midnight meal. Factor sent me a box of chef-prepared meals so I don't have to resort to a 3 a.m. pickle plunge, but instead can indulge in a fresh, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meal. I mean, this has changed the game late night snacks went from gluttonous to nutritiously naughty. And yeah, sure, you can eat them for your other meals too, I guess. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, Factor's cheaper and restaurant quality meals get delivered right to your door, saving you trips to the grocery store, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Oh yeah, and on top of that, almost forgot, if you purchase a subscription to Factor using my link, you will be directly supporting me and my channel, helping me to create some of the best videos in the world. The Wall Street Journal said that, I think. You can get 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box by using my link. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone and get your first Factor box today. And thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this video. Now, in wake of America's new wave tech bro aristocracy, which sounds like a great EDM playlist title, please feel free to use that, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have been in the news quite a bit recently. For one, they were appointed by President-elect Donald Trump to head a new department tasked with the goal of creating a more efficient government. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, as we've already established, is not a real government department, as in, it will operate outside of said government. We'll get to it. Now, these are two tech business bros, the worst combination of men, who got here because of their undying loyalty and unending money to Donald Trump and the Republican Party. However, I think they blatantly misunderstood what that decision meant. When you give your soul to a political party, you lose your sense of self, your individuality, your personal choice. Unless you're Trump, who is the Messiah himself, everything you say, every decision you make, has to make your party happy. Otherwise, they're gonna be racist, I guess. Elon and Vivek are under criticism for advocating for immigration under the H-1B visa, which is a lot to unpack, and we're gonna get into all of that. But for now, it's important to know that Dumb and Dumber over here are not politicians. They're not physicists or biologists. They aren't even as pro-American as Republicans were led to believe. They are businessmen looking for the profitable advantage over anything and anyone else. They're shapeshifters, but they're not even good at that. Because not only is there a misunderstanding of politics here, but there's a misunderstanding of Americans. There's a misunderstanding of science, a misunderstanding of culture, of race, of government. There's a misunderstanding of business, and they're businessmen. So let's start with DOGE, the non-government government department Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have been appointed to co-lead together. Why have they been appointed? Neither of them have ever had experience in government. Well, it feels obvious enough. In describing DOGE's goals, Trump said, the new department would work with the White House and Office of Management and Budget to drive large-scale structural reform and create an entrepreneurial approach to government never seen before. What? An entrepreneurial approach to government, fucking kill me. I know big business is in the pockets of politicians, but for Trump to just say the quiet part out loud makes me feel viscerally unsafe. So it is obvious. Two billionaires at the forefront of this project. And what are the only thing billionaires good at? Increasing their own wealth. I mean, they're quite literally the best in the game. Who's to say they won't use this as another excuse to do it again? Neither of them know virtually anything about government efficiency. Musk's own businesses have regularly run afoul of the very rules he will be in position to attack in his new SAR position. And Vivek has made the bulk of his money in the biotech industry by bodaciously over-promising the results of an Alzheimer's drug his parent company would be trialing, building the company's market value up to $3 billion, only for the drug's clinical trial to fail and for the company to completely dissolve, all while Vivek made it out scot-free due to his personal stake not being in this parent company, but in his own company Roivant, which he ended up selling in 2019 for $175 million. So yeah, this all looks very promising. Our money is in well-intentioned hands. But okay, how do these bozos actually plan on cutting down on spending and increasing government efficiency? Let's at least hear them out.
Yes.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
The genius playboy philanthropist has spoken. The federal budget can be reduced by at least $2 trillion. That's a lot of money. How are they gonna do that? Oh, basically the same way Elon handled Twitter. by just firing a bunch of people.
Elon Musk is going to be in charge of downsizing the swamp in the federal government. Think about this, Chris. When he bought Twitter, Elon Musk fired 80% of the staff. And Twitter, now X, runs better than it ever has now. So he should probably do something similar with the federal government.
She's clearly trying to convince herself here. Are we talking about the same app? Twitter, the app that's lost almost all of its original advertisers because it's basically just porn and bots now. Twitter runs worse than it ever has before. This is the worst comparison that could have been made when trying to downplay the significance of firing a bunch of people. But hey, Vivek did a decent job trying to look at this with a glass half full. Let's hear him out.
I'm hopeful it's going to be even good for many of the individuals who may make a transition from government service back to the private sector.
Yes, firing a bunch of well-meaning federal employees that just want to do their job is good, because they'll be back in the private sector where they'll have the opportunity to pull themselves up by their bootstraps all over again. That is, after all, the American dream. Now let's bring back that $2 trillion goal. Vivek is vehemently adamant about wanting to cut down 75% of the federal workforce. He thinks there's slackers, abusers, lollygaggers, and they need to go packing.
75% headcount reduction across the board in the federal bureaucracy. Send them home packing.
Well, what if I told you that 75% of the federal workforce in 2022 was only $200 billion? 10% of their $2 trillion goal. I wonder what else they want to cut to hit their marker and appease their eager audience. Maybe defense? A department that has failed its audit for 7 years in a row and just spent $842 billion in 2024. More than it ever has in any year in American history. The department that spent $435 on hammers, $640 on toilet seats, and $7,600 on coffee makers. That's each, by the way. No, we're not touching the Department of Defense. Instead, we're going to cut funding from veterans' health care, from the National Institute of Health, from education grants, from Head Start, the program that provides free schooling to low-income children, the FBI, federal prisons, the SEC. Yet even still, with all of those cuts, Elon and Vivek are only looking at a $221 billion addition to their goal. And combining that with the federal workforce overhaul, guys, we're only at 21% of the goal here. If I could repeat myself here, this all looks very promising and our money is in well-intentioned hands. This is what happens when you hire two businessmen. They run the department like a business CEO, with the mindset that they can do anything they want. Can I repeat myself here too? As two tech entrepreneurs, Elon and Vivek have blatantly misunderstood the expectations they have built for themselves by being involved with politics. They should be scared, because they've disappointed the MAGA crowd already. Who knows how bad it'll be if Doge doesn't work out. So let's talk about the recent disappointment with the H-1B visa. Just to be clear, I'm not the one disappointed. In fact, I'm not even surprised. I just find it funny that Elon and Vivek are surprised. One of Trump's biggest campaign talking points was and always has been one of anti-immigration sentiment. And Elon and Vivek, riding on Trump's coattails, have had to reiterate the same or similar talking points. We need more American workers, less importing from foreign countries, America first. Which is why Trump supporters were thrown for a loop when Elon and Vivek both advocated for the importance of immigration via the H-1B visa. Now, don't get all excited. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy haven't suddenly changed their minds about their right-wing rhetoric. No, this H-1B visa actually directly benefits their businesses by preying on foreign workers. The H-1B is a temporary visa category that allows employers to petition for highly educated foreign professionals to work in specialty occupations that require at least a bachelor's degree or the equivalent. It essentially allows U.S. business owners to fuck over American workers and take advantage of foreign employees. In this case, majority Indian immigrants. Immigrants that are more willing to participate in grunt work and little pay, because if they get fired for any reason, they get deported back to their home country. Trump has even come out in support of what Elon has said by saying, "I've always liked the visas. I have always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I've been a believer of H-1B. I have used it many times. It's a great program," he said. I don't know how to do the Trump voice. That is my best interpretation. Even though both he and Vivek have come out in the past in opposition for the visa. Trump during the 2016 presidential debate, and Vivek in 2013 when running for GOP, vowed to gut the system for H-1B temporary worker visas if he wins the White House. Wow, it's almost like politicians lie or something. Now, I and a lot of other people am not in support of H-1B because of its easily exploitative structure that takes advantage of basically every party involved except for the business owners. Other people are not in support of H-1B because they're racist and don't like Indian people. We are not the same, and Elon and Vivek are quickly realizing that they might not be the same either. They had expectations that came with the job of being a political pundit. Just stick to the script. Be anti-immigration, be anti-LGBT, and be pro-America. But no, both Elon and Vivek took to Twitter in order to solidify their stances regarding H-1B. Elon claiming that the number of people who are super talented engineers and super motivated in the USA is far too low, and that we should be thinking about H-1B like it's basketball. This is like bringing in the Jokic's or Wembys of the world to help your whole team, which is mostly Americans, win the NBA. Thinking of America as a pro sports team that has been winning for a long time and wants to keep winning is the right mental construct. Wow. I should have been thinking about the US like it's the NBA this whole time. If we want to bring in highly skilled foreign players in a majority American organization, is LeBron James still the GOAT? Thank you, real-life Tony Stark, for the insightful and riveting analogy of real life to basketball. It makes sense why you think chess is an easy game. And don't worry, because Vivek's response isn't much better than Elon's. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college. It starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ, or the jock over the valedictorian, will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zack and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters, will not produce the best engineers. Fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity. And their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends. More math tutoring, fewer sleepovers. More weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons. More books, less TV. More creating, less chillin'. More extracurriculars. Less hanging out at the mall. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy, then normalcy is what you will achieve. Just so you know, I practiced reading that like it was a supervillain monologue, because that's what this sounds like. It sounds like a character that grows up the abused and sidelined nerd to then turn on everyone and become an evil scientist who gets revenge on that one jock that bullied him in 8th grade. Vivek is just propagandizing immigrant parenting. That's all this is. Hey, as much as he wants to pretend he's still white, you can take an Indian out of India, but you can never take India out of the Indian. Any kid that grew up with strict immigrant parents knows exactly what this is like. But I don't think we look back on it fondly. In no way did I have it as bad as the generation before me, but I craved the consumption of culture, of art, in order to be able to relate to my peers. There are so many pop culture references that I don't understand and wouldn't understand if not for the American friends that I grew up with. And that is no fault to my parents. They were trying to protect me. But this is not something that should be treated like a perfect formula to success. Hell, I'm not a STEM graduate. I make videos in my room. I make videos in my room. Maybe it'll increase chances for financial success, but not personal success or personal fulfillment. Vivek is defending his advocacy for the H-1B visa by insinuating that growing up in a nose-to-the-grindstone, all-work, no-fun environment is what makes the visa holders, who are majority Indian, much more highly skilled than the average American. It's a cultural issue. It's something that has become inherent. It's an us problem. This move by Elon and Vivek to double down on their stances is so utterly amateurish to me. It shows me their lack of political savvy, but also where their priorities lie. Not in ultra-American nationalism, aw man, but in capital and profit, no matter the method of exploitation. Wait, is that worse? Is that worse than the other alternative? Well, Trump supporters say yes, they'd rather ultra-American nationalism. The reason you are in America is because of heritage. Americans have created a great country which has the rule of law, high trust, and integrity. What's so insane about Vivek Ramaswamy talking down to Americans is that he really hasn't contributed anything to this country. He got rich literally effing over his shareholders with empty promises on medical drugs that didn't pan out. It's not racist against Indians to want the original MAGA policies I voted for. I voted for a reduction in H-1B visas, not an extension. Let's take a second here, everyone, okay? Let's calm down for a second and just read the room. Obviously, we know that these billionaires don't want to get rid of their cheap and exploitative labor. But let's pretend like we don't know that. Now, what is the crux of this issue according to these two billionaires? It's the lack of highly skilled American workers. Now, how does one add to the skill of an individual? Correct. Education, increase in funding, affordability, access to scholarships. And which American political party is demonizing the Department of Education, saying things like, the curriculums are making our kids gay? Right, the Republican Party. And who in favor of the Republican Party is soon going to have the power to determine which departments do and do not get funding? Ding, 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 ding. That's right. Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy. You win my fucked up game show. The Department of General Efficiency wants to gut the Department of Education as per their Doge decry. This isn't an issue of bad quality education or brainwashing. Trump and Elon and Vivek know that if the education standard of the average American is kept to a minimum, then they will be able to keep exploiting and perpetuating indentured servitude among foreign workers and fucking over American workers. Now, this is basically the conclusion everyone came to. Even right-wing people were critiquing the tech pros for their unethicality and abuse of H-1B. And I guess, like Elon, who thinks he can fool everybody if we can't see his face, nice try, Adrian Dittman, Vivek must have thought that he could fool all the Republicans into thinking he's white. But Republicans are obsessed with race. All they think about is race. You can appeal to the Southern white voter all you want, but all they're going to see is the color of your skin.
And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
There is a fundamental difference in thinking of these right-wing people, and that thinking revolves around rhetoric that has been repeated throughout history and perpetuated for generations. A rhetoric that prioritizes traditionalism and nationalism, one that paints the immigrants abused by this H-1B issue as the abusers. So naturally, when a lot of people on the right were upset by Elon and Vivek's sentiment, they reacted with racism. All that the Trump supporters needed was a little push, an excuse for them to go all in. And seeing that the visa holders are 75% Indian, H-1B was their golden ticket. I mean, tweet after tweet of shameless anti-Indian bigotry directed at Vivek, directed at Indian immigrants, at all of India. Even though there's a very clear disconnect between these tech bro giants and working class people, Republicans and Trump supporters still seem to be missing the point here. Indians don't have anything to do with these decisions. There is no secret undercover Indian psyop built to replace all white people. The problem is, in fact, the 1%, the beyond wealthy elites. Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk masquerade around pretending that they're doing the job of cutting down an overgrown bureaucracy and uncovering slimy government officials who are manipulating you and using your tax dollars for God knows what. And if you make them head of department, they'll stop those dirty Democrats right in their tracks. But these are just scapegoats put in place so we're distracted, yelling angrily at a fake evil, all while the real evil persists. There is a misunderstanding of everything, but that's always been the point. If I misunderstand you and you misunderstand me, then we can never really get together and solve the important issues. And that's the point. Thank you for watching. My name is Saji Sharma. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. If you really enjoyed, check out my Patreon. It helps to support the channel. And if you didn't enjoy, you probably just misunderstood me.